And hello back to my YouTube channel, and today we have a special YouTube video because it's 50 years anniversary of apollo-soyuz test program, or I think, yeah, in Russian it's soyuz-apollo, soyuz-apollo, but I never thought that like they switched Apollo and Soyuz switch places in both languages, so it's quite interesting. I never thought of it much, but yeah. And here we launching our Soyuz with Valentina and Team C. Well, Team C is like, okay, it's one of the 5. Oh, here we have Korolov Cross. Yeah, about the crew. Valentina, of course, we have Valentina because it's like Valentina Tereshkova, like Kerbal. And we have Team C because it's another primary crew of Kerbal Space Program 2. So we in general have crew of 5 of both mission. And on my Saturn, Apollo Command and Service Module would fly Bill, Bob and Jeb. Here I pitched up a little because I didn't have much TVR, and here we would hot staging. We had a hot stage. I don't know, should this fairing separate, but I think because hot staging exploded our interstage, it just stays here now. And again, we did not complete the full orbit because we want to dispose our third stage, I guess, in this case. And here our Soyuz spacecraft is in orbit. So again, I did a little bit editing, and I teleported my Soyuz into the desert, but I haven't changed the inclination of, so it's not like very accurate. It's like only for visuals, because in Kerbal Space Program, and here we're launching Saturn 1B with Bill, Bob and Jeb. Here we had a roll program to put our rocket into the right, to have mass distribution and all that stuff in the right place, so we can pitch downrange and fly our rocket. Also, here we would have staging. I did save because I had several failed attempts of it, and well, you can see that it was not the most clean staging event. I have on this second stage 3 solid rocket separation motors, but it still did clip, so it's dragged our second stage of Saturn 1B. Also, I like that the Saturn 1B launches had little camera in the first stage, so after separation it did film the separation, and then stage would turn, and camera with its own like little spacecraft would detach and fly back with parachutes, so ground crews can recover the tape that managed to capture the separation. And here we're going to dock our adapter, special adapter for Apollo-Soyuz test program, because first of all, both crafts had different docking adapters. The Apollo had probe and rogue adapter, and for Soyuz Apollo test program was on Soyuz developed special androgynous docking adapters, so both parts are can dock with each other, no matter how you would like they both have the same system, unlike the probe and drogue, where you have probe and drogue. So here we're going to close on our target, on our Soyuz, because in Apollo-Soyuz test program main maneuvers was performed by Apollo in the first part, and then they did some experiments. So yeah. And second reason for this adapter, because Apollo and Soyuz had different life support systems. Apollo had almost, like, I think it's pure oxygen, and Soyuz had more like nitrogen oxygen, more like on Earth, where we have nitrogen and oxygen main part of our atmosphere. And so this adapter would adapt to the atmosphere of spacecraft to which our hatch is opened. So when you open hatch and close hatch on the Soyuz and close hatch on Apollo, you would have in adapter and in Soyuz nitrogen oxygen atmosphere, and in and vice versa if you have if you need to traverse to Apollo spacecraft. Also, they did play with pressurization of both crafts, so they had more similar pressure inside them. So it's quite interesting how they managed to do this this cool thing with docking and traversing between the crafts. So what I was saying before we launched the Apollo spacecraft, I did teleport the Soyuz to the desert because it looks more like Kazakhstan with deserts, mountains, and etc. Here our Soyuz, by the way, doing a little dance while it waited the Apollo spacecraft. So in reality, Kazakhstan and Florida would have the different orbital inclinations when you launch from them. And from Kazakhstan you would not be able to launch to inclination of Florida launches from Cape Canaveral, because Florida is lower on the Earth. So Apollo spacecraft would have to match the inclination of the Soyuz. And now all the US spacecrafts also need to match the inclination of International Space Station, and before that the Mir Space Station, so they can dock to the spacecraft. And here in Kerbal I just launched from equator, because main space center on the equator, it's more simple that way, and like I didn't thought of it much, and then I remembered, oh, true, we need to have to make more realistic different inclinations. Also here we dock. I forgot to match the open of these grid fins that made my from which I made my androgynous docking adapter, and here we would dock. So I match them both, so they would look better when both crafts would dock. It's actually it was my first both crafts docking attempt with the Soyuz-Apollo, and Soyuz is bigger. It's on my recreation, because like yeah, Soyuz should be smaller, way smaller. In reality, Soyuz is like. In reality, Soyuz it is smaller than Apollo spacecraft, and would not look like this. But in Kerbal Space Program 2, I don't have the much part that can match the Soyuz diameter and etc. Like in Kerbal scale, I guess. Here we did perform our exchange of crew in the adapter, so they can shake hands, all of that. Where in reality crew consisted of on Soyuz of Alexei Leonov, who did the first ever spacewalk, Valery Kubasov, well, he did the first in-space manufacturing experiments, and also they both was reassigned from ill-fated Soyuz 11. So yeah, it's good so that they are there was on Soyuz-Apollo apollo-soyuz test program. And from the Apollo side, from US side, we had Tom Stafford, who was on Apollo 10. He flown at Apollo 10. Also one of the original Mercury 7 crew members, but was grounded for a bit because of the health problems. And Vance Brandt and Dick Selton. Vance trained for several Apollo missions, but I think didn't flown, I guess. And Dick Selton later, after the he was the oldest person who flew in space at the time, and then he did the approach and landing test for the space shuttle program, and did managing for the space shuttle program for a bit. Also, here we would perform one of the experiments that was done on Apollo-Soyuz test program. We undocked from the Apollo and adapter with our Soyuz spacecraft, and we would perform our main docking maneuvers with the Soyuz, who is now the active docking spacecraft. It is. Okay, never mind. Well, and we have our docking. So also I did forgot the Valentina in the adapter, but well, I guess it's not as important because we still managed to dock with TMC Kerman. And here we transferring an energy from our spacecraft. It was not done on the test program in real life, but here we depleted battery power in our Apollo spacecraft, so Soyuz, we transferred some energy from Soyuz to Apollo. Also on the test program, there was of course several gifts exchange. Also performed some experiments like human health experiments, of course, when you have 5 humans on board, and we have here 5 Kerbals. Also, like I think some atmosphere, like nitrogen in space concentration, etc. But here we performing one of the cool experiments. Like you might have heard that recently, I think ESA spacecrafts managed to do artificial solar eclipse with 2 spacecrafts. And back then, Apollo and Soyuz did the same experiment. The Apollo maneuvered in front of the sun, so the Soyuz crew could photograph the corona of the sun, because the Apollo spacecraft is like round when you look at this on it that way. So it was not ideal, but very cool experiment that was done at the time. Also, crew exchange. I like that crew exchange the spruce seeds that was later grown. I think it's something somewhere in I think Russia, Moscow area. They grown the seeds from space, like. Soviet crew brought the Siberian spruce, and the US crew brought the white spruce, and they did exchange them. So very cool experiment and like present thing. Also in Kerbal Space Program, in Kerbal Space Program 2, we have little bit. We had to little bit finagle to do the experiment with the sun, because well, we can't do much like the eclipse, but I think when our craft did with our Apollo craft did a little bit dim the sun from the Soyuz perspective, I think we like done this experiment with limitations of Kerbal Space Program 2. And here we would have again dock for a bit, and then we would have the return. I think well, as like I look for this spacecraft Soyuz-Apollo like stack, well, Soyuz is comparable to the Apollo spacecraft, but like in my recreation, Soyuz like very too much big, and if I have done this in Kerbal Space Program 1, I would have used like 1 and 8 I think meter part, like between small and between medium part. And in Kerbal Space Program 2 we don't have this part diameter, so we have comically large Soyuz spacecraft here, but well, it's quite detailed because of that. So we undock for the last time. I actually don't know when Soyuz was undocking in the first time for the experiment, when the Soyuz was active spacecraft, and for the last time, like, have ever Soyuz detached with the adapter, or adapter was detached all the time to the Apollo spacecraft? So, like, I don't know much about that. So, like, but it could have been always attached to the Apollo. So we have deorbited our Soyuz, and we would land it back in the deserts. Also on this flight, music was exchanged with I think tenderness from the Soviet side, and why can't we be friends from the US side, and also both crews spoken in each other languages, so it's like very cool cooperation, international cooperation exchange in space. And also above cooperation, the adapter that was used on the Soyuz side would be used later, like not the exact same, but it would be modified later for space stations and like okay, I would speak about for a bit after we would land the Soyuz, because again I made the Soyuz so it has the one parachute, like the real one that has one big parachute, and we have the retro rockets because Soyuz lands on hard surface of the ground. To slow itself for a bit, it has the retro rockets that fires before the landing, slows the spacecraft to the like more or less comfortable landing, but it's still the quite hard landing. And we returned the crew all safe, because I did this in exploration mode. We even got some science, but I did a little bit of cheating because I needed the parts for the for our mission, and I want to have the like experiments so we can literally perform experiments in the game. So I did this mission in exploration save mode. So about the adapter, later it would be modified to be like more modern androgynous docking adapter, so it can be used on Buran and Mir program. Well, Buran never flown to Mir, But what did fly to Mir is the space shuttle. So the adapter was used on the space shuttle and the Mir space station, so both spacecrafts can dock. And like this docking adapter that first was planned to fly on the Buran, the spacecraft, later flown on the shuttle, so it can dock to Mir. And now it is used like version of this adapter that was again modified is used on the International Space Station. So craft use it constantly to dock and undock to modules of the station. Also here we landing our Apollo capsule, and in reality after the Apollo-soyuz, crew of the Apollo did have a little bit of observation of an event, because some valves of hydrogen system, like thrusters on uses very toxic hydrogen, and some valves was opened, so crew breathed in the hydrogen. One of them even did fade out a little for a bit, but they also did manage very quickly to put the gas masks on, oxygen masks, and was at the end fine. So again, we returned crew, all people was safe, and here we would have a little bonus, because all my crafts that I used in this video have the escape systems, working escape systems, and at the end of the video I would show like how they work. So here we have the Soyuz, rocket. We like induce some failure mode. For example, we have the guidance fail, and I use the pause because I don't like how works action groups in KSP2 2. Like they a little bit works weird, but we have the pause, very great feature of KSP2 2, and we have an escape. These grid fields fold out to ensure the stability of the craft, and here parts falling down to the ground with a little bit of explosions, and we safely save the crew from the failed spacecraft, from the failed launch vehicle, and now we will descend and again fire the retro rockets to slow ourselves down for final landing. And we safely landed. So my Saturn 1B also has the escape system, and also it launches from the milk stool. Milk stool is this bottom, very tall part of the launch pad, because this was developed to launch Saturn 1B rocket from the Saturn V pads. Because the tower for Saturn V is very long and the umbilical systems are very high, you need the milk stool so they can connect to the Saturn 1B that is way shorter than the main Saturn V vehicle. And again, we safely escaped our failed rocket. It did explode in the background, and we again would descend safely. So thanks for watching for this Apollo-Soyuz test program video. Happy, I guess, 50 years of Apollo-Soyuz test program. 50 years, like, it's very long time, but it's very important to have this moment remembered as one of the great commemoration moments in human history. And again, thanks for watching. Subscribe, like. And I have a donation link now, so if you want to support me, you can do it there. So thanks for watching, and bye bye.